Alright, gonna do a bit of a instrument practice today. I'm gonna just take a break from mixing just for today anyway, because I don't know if I could stay awake for it, honestly. I'm like very tired. Alright, anyway. As exciting as this is gonna be. My I'm playing 6. Weird on this. It's a combination of the layout and the Zarlino. Like nothing is where I think it's gonna be, basically. I mean, it's just like not a consistent pattern. Those are consistent, but then as soon as I get here, it changes and then it changes again. It changes again. Changes again. Consistent. And it changes again. It's only like 2 movements that are like same shape. Back to back. Odd. On piano, these would all be the same shape. Seems like this is gonna be hard to get fast. Better. Also, a lot of these like movements, especially for the right hand, I feel like contortions like don't seem very ergonomic. I do think tilting the instrument so it's kind of more diagonal is probably better, probably more ergonomic. Never balanced. Weird, like these are 6 tall, and like this one is 3 up and 1 over. This one's like 1 up and 2 over. So close. When the intervals are different sizes, so it makes sense, but it's just so different. Because normally it'll be the same size. Well, you'd have technically 2 sizes, but if you're in C major on a piano, they all end up being the same shape. Hey, Abigail, how you doing? So yeah, it's just very counterintuitive. I'm not getting it, but like, it'd be hard to get it fast and smooth. Kind of curious, like how many steps these sixths are. I think I have 4 different sizes here. Or 22 of like a Pythagorean major. Like D to F would be like or F to D would be Pythagorean minor, so it'd be like a sub minor basically. Down E to C would be like a, no, I guess it's flipped. The Pythagorean minor would be a little wide, right? No. Be a little extra flat. Not flipped. So down E C would be E to C would be major. No, E to C would be minor. The down E would be up minor. So the down B to G up minor. Same with the down. Yeah. Same with the down A to F. And then the down, no, that's G to down E would be down major. And F to D would just be major. And F to D would just be major. And down E to C would be the up minor. D to down B would be down major. And down E to C would be up minor. I think we don't have any minor 6. Yeah, F to D is a major 6. That's the only one that's 2 naturals. Everything else has a down and a natural. Except for F to D. Yeah. That'd be down major. And then, alright, yeah. A lot of down majors. and F, D is major. And then wait, were there any? There were minors too, right? Has to be. I think. Yeah, down E to C is an up minor, not a major. There's no minor sixth down minor. So unintuitive. Okay. Almost. Okay. And then this is B flat, G. A sharp. I guess it'll be this one. Yeah, we're not gonna do B flat. We're gonna up. This. That's flat. Yes. Let's see. What's the B flat would be like A up. I don't know if there's A sharp here. I actually think that G flat sounds fine. B flat sounds good. What else go? Maybe that's better. This is a case where I think it really not just literally like a chromatic, just a walking tone. So normally it's like switching from the minor third, which is sharp 9, to the major third. So if we were to do it like that, it'd be this one. That'd be consistent with 12 Edo. Same note. We also have this choice here, which I kind of like the warmth of that. Has a nice, like more like a, kind of reminds me of a dominant 7th chord a little bit more, which we eventually add that 7th. I feel like it fits the mood of it. Let's see, if you have like a G, for some crazy reason you wanted to play all the notes together. Do one version. Do one version. Maybe the other version. You know, I think with the B flat, which is the A up, it sounds a little more. It's a little nicer. It almost sounds neutral or something, but it has makes sense because the flat is like really flat. Not quite neutral, but it's septimal. Almost a 7/6. Yeah, I think I'll go with the A up there instead of the A sharp. one. Right? Keep forgetting this part. Almost it. I thought that. I want to try this. I want to try it with the regular A. Not there though. So when I get here, I can either do this or I can do this. That sounds better. Odd. Does. So use the down A here. It sounds better here. Once I get here, the regular A. wonder if there's a case for the regular B flat there too. Because it's like almost like not even really. Like, is that a minor third or is that the blue third? You know, what would that even be? Be like a sub minor, septimal third. I guess it would be minor. This one would be closer to neutral. But I kind of like this septimal one. Actually, I feel like septimal stuff sounds bluesy, honestly. Hey, what's up, Amber Kit? You finally found a YouTuber who's interested in microtonal music like you. Awesome, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of us. I don't know if you've been on the Zen Harmonic Alliance. Have I tried making a circle of fifths in 22 Ito? Have I made it? No. Is it I haven't even tried. Is it hard? Let me think. Let me think about it for a second. So go C, G, D, A, E, B. Here's where it would get weird. It's still, I think it'd just be normal, right? Just go F sharp, right? Hey, what's up, Paliac? I saw you were streaming, right? When I was signing on. I didn't see you, I didn't actually watch the stream though. But yeah, I saw you were streaming, so how'd the stream go? It's not easy, a lot of math. With 24 Ito, 24's 24 shouldn't be hard. It's two chains of fifths. It's just one is gonna go through your sharps and flats, and the other one's gonna go through the half sharps and half flats. I guess the spellings for those would be kind of weird, but it would basically be the same. Just you'd have two of them. And then in 60 Ito, you would have 5 chains of fifths. If they're circles, if they're perfect fifths, are you using different size fifths? You made a weird tune with 12 Ito, 22 Ito, and 19 Ito riffs throughout it. Oh, that's interesting. You're stoked on it? Been a while since you made something good. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, Amber Kit, if they're perfect fifths, you would have 5 discrete chains of fifths if you were in 60. Because the fifth would be the same as the 12 Ito fifth. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Can't imagine there happens to be a closer. I'll be very surprised if there's like a better fifth. I guess it's possible. Oh, there's definitely not. Yeah, right here. It's the same one. So you'd have 5 chains of perfect fifths. You struggle creating a circle of fifths from the cent step, this decimal point. So like in 22, it would be a little more. It'd be a little annoying because your accidentals get weird because you have sharps, flats, and ups and downs. But if you're just going through the circle of fifths, it would be like I don't know if I think it would be pretty much normal. At first, I think it would go all the way up through the F sharp from C, and then it would go to um let me think about this. So it normally goes C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, or A flat, and then E flat, then D flat, then G flat. And then if you went down a fifth from there, you'd be at B. So I think that's where it would change. Instead of going to B, it would go to down B. Be like, let me think. So if you're in the key, hold on, let me read this message from Peliac first. So you can create a circle of fifths if your fifth is co-prime with the Ito. Otherwise, you get a bunch of independent cycles. Yes. Anything that has an odd number of Ito feels impossible to create a circle of fifths due to the fact that none of the intervals will be properly equal. I don't know what you mean by that, Ember Kit. The fifths will all be the same size. All your intervals, if it's an Ito, your interval sizes are always going to be consistent. It doesn't where it gets messy is how you label the intervals. Because the cent sizes will remain consistent. Like a major sixth, if you're doing equal divisions, a major six is always going to be the same size. Like it's always going to be consistent. There's a term for that. Can't remember what it is, but it's major six is always going to be the same size. And then all that matters is how your stack of fifth interval step approaches the octave interval step. What do you mean? Like if it gets sharper or if it gets flatter? Example is 13 Ito, which is annoying to stack. Thirteen Ito is really weird. But again, the size of the fifth would remain consistent. Like it's not really like where it gets annoying is what do you call the notes? That's what's like if you just look at it numerically, it's really pretty straightforward. Like if you just look at the math, like on 13, you don't really have a fifth, but you could call it the 8. This one's closer, so I guess this is your whatever. You gotta settle for this. You know, it's just 8 against 13. To be your 8, then your 5, then your whatever 5, your 13. No wait, what's it? What was it? Ace 13. Like 3, and then your 11, and then whatever. We just keep alternating like that. What is it? 8, 3, 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. 8 against 13. Oh, it's 7. All right. 1, 2, 3, 8. So if you count this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Anyway, I'm confused, but point being, like, it'd always be consistent. It stacks in the same way. Like all I'm saying is that okay. A circle of fifths. I'm pretty sure a circle of fifths. Like I'm not the music theory expert guy by any means, but pretty sure like the this is your fifth, right? So to make a chain of fifths, you take this cent size and you just add it 13 times. And that gives you every fifth in 13 Ito. So whatever Ito you're in, if it's prime, you stack the fifth over and over and over again. Whatever the fifth is, like 13 doesn't really have a fifth, but this is your fifth. And so whatever this plus itself is, what is that, 14 something? Subtract that from 1200, that's one of these intervals. That's this one, 276. And you add that same number to this, add 738 point whatever to this, and that's your next one. It's, I guess, this one right here, 1015. That's your next fifth. And so you just keep doing that, and you add this to that again, and subtract 1200 from that. That's your next one, which I think is this. And you just keep doing that, and that gives you your chain of fifths. That's how you get your chain of fifths. It's just a very simple pattern. I mean, I say it's simple. If you were to sit down and write it out or whatever, like there is a pattern, like it goes. It's annoying to do this on stream, but like it'd be 0, 8, 3, 11. So you just add 8 every time, and you're in base 13. So 0, 8, 3, 11 plus 8. 11 plus 8 normally is 19, so subtract 3 or whatever, subtract 13. So that would be 6 plus 8 is 24, right? Minus 13 is 11. No, that's not right. 24 minus 13. How did I get 24? What's 6 plus 8? 14. 14. So then it'd be this one. It'd be 9. Plus 8 is 17 minus 13 is 4. Plus 8 is 12. So it'd be this one. Plus 12 plus 8 is 20. Minus 13 is 7. Is that right? 12 plus 8 is 20. Minus 13 is 7. Plus 8 is 15. Minus 13 is 2. Plus 8 is 10. Plus 8 is 18. Minus 13 is 5. Plus 8 is 13. That's the full circle. So, and if you were to plot it out on a thing, there would be a pattern. You would see the pattern. You'd start at 0. You'd go to 8. What is 8 plus 13? Is 8 plus 8 is 16. Minus 13 is 3. Plus 8 is 11. Plus 8 is 19. Minus 13 is 6. Plus 8 is 14. Minus 13 is 1. Plus 8 is 9. Plus 8 is 17. Minus 13 is 4. 8 is 12. 8 is 20. Minus 13 is 3. Plus 8 is 11. Wait, I did that wrong. Plus 20 minus 13 is 3. Right? 20. Messed up somewhere. Messed up in here. 9 plus, that's right, 6 plus 8, 14. Right? And then plus 8 is 22. Minus 13. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. That'd be 9. And then plus 8 is 17. Minus 13 is 4. Plus 8 is 12. Plus 8 is 20. Minus 13. Dude, I keep messing up right here. It'll be 3, but it's not right. Or am I screwing this up? 0 plus 8. Did I mess up here? I don't think I said 11, 6, 0, 8, 3. So it looks like plus 8 minus 5. Right? 8 minus 5 plus 6 plus 8 is 14, right? Minus 5. 8 minus 5. Oh, this would be 8. And then 3. Oh, it was not correct. Oh, yeah. Oh, never mind. So that's where it starts over. It's right here. Yeah, so we start over here because we have a 0 instead of a 1. So 0 is 1. Yeah, it'll always look like plus 8 minus 5. Like if you go past 13, you subtract 5 because you're in base 13 or whatever. So there's a pattern there. And that corresponds with the Ito sizes. What's up, Huff? We're just going over circle of fifths in like a weird, when you have a weird chain of fifths. Like it's not 13 equal doesn't have a good fifth. So if your fifth is 378, it's 8 steps of 13 Ito. You get a numerical pattern in like base 13 where you just keep adding 8. And you always reduce so it's under 13. And 12 is 0 basically. And then yeah, so this is your pattern. And it's like plus 8 minus 5 basically. Plus 8 if you have more than 13. If you have less, if you have more than 13, subtract 5. And you can do the same thing regardless of what the Ito is. And then like if you look, say your 0 is C, then this is where it gets weird. Oops. How do I undo that? Where it gets weird is like, what do you call the notes? So if 0 is C, we're saying 8 is G sharp. There's no real fifth in here, so this is where it's weird. There's no real fifth, so you go straight to G sharp. But they have a version where they give it the name of the fifth. That'd be G. 8 would be G, and then I'm guessing 3 would be. Even this version doesn't have a good. Doesn't like go in fifths. Yeah, what you call the notes is where it gets weird. So there might be like a chain of fifths version on here. Let's see what they came up with. So C's here. They put C on 4. And they put G on 12, which is 8 above. And then if we went 5 below this, would be D would be here. That'd be 5 below that. And then if we went 5 below this, A would be here. 5 above this, or 8 above this would be 10, which would be E. So see this column here, I think this is the, yeah, and then B, and you go, up 8, and you get H. You get H. So they put an H in here. That's Irv Wilson. He's a great music theorist. A lot of what we do, microtonalist, comes from Irv Wilson. So he came out with this system to keep the fifths consistent in 13 Ito, it looks like. And then from H, we're going to go into the weird stuff. Went to whatever that Greek alphabet is. Iota or whatever the heck that is. And then whatever that is. Anyway, so these are all just fifths. So that's your chain of fifths if you want to keep the lettering consistent with like the way letters normally work. But here it's going based. See, 26 Ito has a fifth. It has an actual fifth. So this actually makes more sense. Because 13 doesn't really have a good fifth. These aren't functionally fifths. But 26 Ito has one. And so in this other version, you just give it the 26 Ito name. Which that's what you should do. There's not really a fifth in 13. But if you can just take that pattern of 8 13 steps and you can just make a chain out of it, that's not really that crazy. Majority of music theory is math in a way. There's always a mathematical method which you try to find. Well, I'm curious, Ember Kit, like what's your chain of fifths in 24 Ito? A guy who made the 80s drum machine be used for snare drums, etc. Yes, Roger Lynn made the linnstrument. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're in 13. My linnstrument's in 22. We're doing modular arithmetic, I guess so, yeah. Honestly, this stuff's not, this isn't, that, what I just went over isn't that complicated. I mean, it's just weird at first, but it's really uncomplicated. Very straightforward. Yeah, like the logic is very straightforward. But when it comes to like naming the notes, like in 22 Ito, there is a chain of fifths, but you have ups and downs. You have sharps, flats, ups and downs, or up sharps and down, or down sharps and up flats. So, which are the same. I'm not really sure what the crossover is, but if I look at my layout and go up a fifth, I can find it. If I go through a chain of fifths on my layout, this is C, G, D, A, E, B. I don't have it down, but be this one. This would be G flat after B. Or, I'm sorry, the F sharp after B, C sharp, is that F sharp? C sharp. C sharp, G sharp. So these are all normal. C sharp, G sharp, then D sharp, and A sharp. And then it would go to, then here's where it gets weird. It goes to down F sharp. And down F sharp would be E sharp. Be E sharp, but it's also down F sharp. And then it'll be down C sharp, down G sharp, down D sharp, down A sharp, and then it would go to G flat, which would be down C sharp. I mean, or are we down E sharp? E sharp. Down E sharp would be G flat, and then D flat, A flat, E flat, B flat, then F, and C. So that was the whole circle. So 99% of Zen theory is applied number theory that you learned in uni. The way you did the circle of fifths in 24 Ito is this. Due to the fact that our perfect fifth is 7 or 12, we double it. 724 would be the next fifth. in the circle of fifths despite it being a neutral third. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where you're getting that from. That's the neutral third. So your chain. You don't. Every Ito doesn't have one circle of fifths. Sometimes they have two. Like if 11 Ito had a good fifth, then 22 would have two chains of fifths. But 11 Ito doesn't really have a fifth. But 22 does. So because 22's fifth is an odd number, because it's however many steps it is, 13. Because of that, there's just one chain of fifths. So yeah, if you're yeah, exactly. I mean, how Paleac put it was much more, was about as succinct as you can get. It's, you know, if it's coprime, if it's not divisible by the if it's not a what do you call that? Your fifth isn't divisible by the Ito, whatever the number of the Ito is, then you're gonna have a chain of fifths that encompasses all the notes. But if the fifth is divides evenly into the number, into your Ito, like in 24, the fifth is 14 steps, or yeah. So because this 14, well, 14 doesn't go to 24. How does it work? But when you stack that, it doesn't run. It creates two chains. Like if you stack the fifths, you just get half the notes. If it shares a common divisor, then they aren't coprime. Okay, there you go. It shares a common divisor. So yeah, the fifth is 14, and then the Ito is 24. So they're both both multiples of 2. Circle fifth is 24 is because you doubled it. Same as 60, you multiplied it by 5. Yeah, 60 Ito would have 5 chains of fifths. Because it's the 12 Ito fifth, and it's just shifted by a 10th tone. It'd just be shifted by 10 cents every time. Every time. Right? Something like that. RTT Zenwick explained a rigorous way to define intervals in every single temperament. Vowels. I don't want to do this one. No, never mind. Take that back. That's bad. What do you call the chords in 22 Ito? You know, that's a great question. And again, I'm not really the theory guy. I mean, I definitely know a bit, but so basically 22 Ito, I mean, I can explain how I think of it. I don't know that this is really a reflection of how most microtonalists think of it. But basically in 22 Ito, so your chain of fifths, it gives you a sharp third and a sharp seventh. So your half steps end up being like really small. They're like quarter tones basically. So because of that, if you're playing diatonic music, the tendency is to reduce the third, the sixth, and the seventh by one Ito step. That also gives you a 1, 4, and a 5 chord with nicer thirds because 22, since the fifth is so sharp, that's why you get a sharp third and sharp sixth and sharp seventh too. Like all your major intervals are sharp, and all your minor intervals are a little extra flat. But you get these intervals in between that are actually pretty good. So it doesn't line up with the chain of fifths, but they're right there, and you can make a scale based off of those. So your sharp third is, if you're sticking a super pipe, which that's just like, it's just bigger than Pythagorean. So the fifth and 22, since it's like almost 710 cents, a little extra sharp. So we say it's bigger than Pythagorean, it's super pipe. So your major third in super pipe is actually not a major third. It's actually a super major third. And in 22 Ito, your down major third is actually a pretty good major third. So really, a better way of representing these intervals here would be to call this a super major third, which if you're in key of C, this would be your E, and this would be your down E. And they put this here as also as the classic major third. It is basically a down major third, but it works better as a major third, like your third in your major chord, than this one does. So really you have like down major and super major, and in 22 you don't really have like a normal major third or major chord, but you have a chord that works fine as a major chord. I mean, it sounds major. It's just a little more, it's just a little subdued, which, you know, is fine. It's a little closer to just the third is anyway. So some people would say it's actually more in tune. But if you don't play that version, you get this chord, which is like super buzzy. Or not buzzy, but super sharp and literally super major. It's easy to even interpret that as a fourth sometimes. For triads, you call it super major, just major, minor, and sub minor. Scales as well, it's hard to do due to the fact that most musicians are used to using heptatonic and pentatonic scales, like the 24 use tetradecatonic scales to make major and minor in 24 Ito. Yeah, I don't know. The way you talk about 24 Ito kind of confuses me, honestly. Because I I think a 24 is being two 12 Itos. That's really all it is. It's like two 12s. quarter tone apart. So in 24, like a major chord is the exact same thing as in 12. And same for a minor chord. But you also have neutrals, super majors, and sub minors. So tetradecatonic, does that mean 14 note scale? Yeah, I find that odd. I don't really know what that. I'm curious, like what would your scale be? What's your tetradecatonic scale to make a major scale? I mean, do you mind spelling out the notes for your tetradecatonic major scale? I'm kind of curious how you do that. Um, yeah, in 22, I basically agree with Paleac. Just super major, then you have like a kind of a funny major chord, but it's fine. It's just major. It's a major chord or a just major or a down major. Then you have like an up minor and a sub minor. So 22 has like decent basic triads, but they do sound a little funny. But honestly, that's what I like about 22. That's a big part of the appeal for me. Is it's a little different. You have stuff that basically it's hard to misinterpret when you're like playing something that's written for standard 12 Edo music. Like you can do it in 22 and you won't really mistake it. You'll know what it's conveying. Like if I played Happy Birthday in 22, like you would recognize Happy Birthday or whatever. If I can find it. Anyway, you get the idea. So yeah, you can do it, but it'll sound, recognizable as whatever it is, in 12. But yeah, it always has like it has a distinctive flavor, which is nice because it's, I like that about 22. Like it's by default, it's kind of its own thing, but it's also like not so off the rails that like you can't make normal sounding music with it. So, all right, here's your scales: 0, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14, 17, 19, 21, 23, 24. It's interesting. That's your major scale. So, yeah, I see that. So if you so 0, 1, 2 would be a that's chromatic, and then you'd be there's like 2 half steps, then a quarter step, then a half step, half step, half step, quarter step, half step. Half step, quarter step, half step, half step, half step, quarter step. Because 24 Edo is doubled, you can use the diatonic modes and double them to get it in 24 Edo. This is kind of an interesting interpretation of a 24 Ito. That's your major scale. I kind of want to mess with that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what, I don't know how that's supposed to be a major scale, but it is interesting. Two, 4, 5, 7, 9, 12, 16, 17, 21. Yes. I mean, it's an interesting scale. Sure. You don't even have a major third in it. Wait, yeah, just not in the main mode. Couple major thirds. But look at this one. It is kind of interesting. It's interesting. So this is a 14 note scale. Try it. I'm just gonna do a 14 note layout. And oh, I forgot to load my virtual keyboard. Oh dang. Well, I'll do later. So oops, surge. Is this just an override? Here, go delete this. So here's a 14 note. Yeah. Let's do one. So low. doing it wrong? There we go. Okay. Okay. Do you have like so let's see here. Gotta catch up with some of this reading. 24 is double. You can use the diatonic modes and double them. Any unit that isn't a multiple of 12, you struggle finding the theory. Locrian in 24 is your favorite. Will they send us to hell? I don't know, Mr. Leaky 666. I think you're already like better acquainted with that than most people. You should be telling us, Mr. Leaky, are we going to hell for this? I mean, all right, 0, 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12. Is that a mode of this? That's a mode of this, right? It is one of these three. 3, 5. Not that one. 1, 3, 5. It's not that. 5, no. 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 13, 15, 17, 18, 20. Okay, so it's this final mode here. Yeah, I mean, Locrian is just this. All your modes in 24 are the same as they are in 12. You just have more of them. So this would be, you know. How'd you come up with these? Like, what's the basis of these numbers? Like, how'd you decide on this pattern? And like, why do you consider this a Locrian? I mean, I could see why, because it's the last mode of this. But you can just play regular Locrian in 24 as well. So this is also like its own, like this would be its own thing. It's like a different, it has neutral intervals and stuff. I'm curious if this is like a, let's check out these 14 note scales on here. Like we're doing this one. Variety. Four. Okay. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, so that's this young hack half octave diatonic. Based off of some Lamont Young came up with, I'm assuming, or inspired by Lamont Young. Yeah, this would be the 14th or 13th mode of this. Half octave diatonic. I think I'm following the logic, kind of. So you're squishing, you're just taking the step sizes and you're just squishing them in half. Yeah, okay, that's what you're saying too. You found the interval pattern of Locrian and you're just do it twice. So instead of doing 2 2 1, so you're doing 2 2 1 2 2 2 2 1. That's what you normally do in 12, but you're just doing it. You're doing 2 2 1 of 24. So that's where you get these scales from. So your major scale was the same thing, or was that it was 2 2 1 2 2 2 1 2 2 1 2 2 2 1 doubled. That kind of makes sense. But yeah, that would be like using the. You assume it's mathematically correct. I mean, well, mathematically, it's. I mean, yeah, I mean, I follow the logic of that for sure. But like, if you, so I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call these major and Locrian because they don't. You're changing what your generator is. You're changing your generator basically to be a tritone instead of an octave. And so if you repeat the pattern at the tritone, it's not really a major, like you can't fit a major scale in the width of a tritone. Like it has to repeat at the octave or like close to an octave because the sound is completely different. So while these are like you're making an interesting scale, and in fact in this scale you have a pretty cool like kind of majory scale in it. That's not exactly major. So in this half diatonic scale, and yeah, you can see Lamont Young came up with the same idea. Half octave diatonic is what it's being called here. So yeah, that'd be like a diatonic pattern, but repeating at the tritone instead of the octave. But I mean, I think this is really interesting, and I want to play with it and see what kind of music I can come up with it. But like, I wouldn't call it a major scale, really. I'd call it something else. So it is like it has a lot of neutral intervals, and so like if we look at the Locrian version of this, right here, I have it highlighted here. So you have a you call this like a sub minor second, a neutral second, sub minor third, a minor third, a major third, a perfect fourth, diminished fifth, I mean a tritone, diminished or minor fifth, a major fifth, or a sub minor sixth, neutral sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, major seventh. So you have, you know, those are basically like where those intervals would line up when you're building chords and stuff. So like when you're writing music, you're looking for chords and things like that. So generally speaking, you want fifths or thirds to be like the basis of your harmonies and stuff. I mean, you can do it different ways, obviously. Like you could decide to make a quote unquote triad by stacking every other note of this. You could do that, but those would sound basically like tone clusters. You'd have to double how many you would skip to get like an actual like what would sound like a triad. You'd have to go all the way up from here to like here and then to like here, which that's how you normally do it. But those sound more like your chords, because it's hard to build. Remember that microtonal intervals are meant to be dissonant. I mean, they can be dissonant and that can be fun, but like like you could make music in this way, like what you're doing, Amber Kit. It's totally fine, like to explore this. But I'm just letting you know, like in general, microtonal musicians tend to think in terms of like a chord is going to be based off of intervals that closely resemble, the chords we already know. So like we wouldn't call, hey Ruan, what's going on? We wouldn't call going from here to here to here a triad, because we wouldn't normally consider this a third. This is still just a second. You just have more seconds. So in 24 Edo, rather than considering a tritone and octave and then adding more like an octave is still an octave. Like we still privilege octave equivalence, since that's a basic like psychoacoustic reality. Like we're always going to interpret octaves as being like we always interpret notes an octave higher as representing the same pitch, you know what I mean? So because of that, every note's relationship to the octave is what defines the quality of the note. Like that's what defines the quality of the interval, is its distance to, is its position in the repeating octave, more or less. Like there have been attempts to create music that doesn't do that, but it's really like just probably just a facet of human perception. And yeah, like there's some deviations that like maybe stretched octaves. Really, we do like stretched octaves and blah blah blah. But it's really hard to like hear a tritone as being an octave, and it's really hard to hear like a 1, 150, 300 as being a chord. That's really just like a stack of seconds. So like that's almost always going to sound like, that's not really going to sound like a chord. It's going to sound like seconds. This isn't going to sound like an arpeggio. This is going to sound like a scale. You know what I mean? So when you get like a larger set of notes in a tuning, you just end up with more options of those smaller intervals. So we don't say that now a tritone is our new octave. We still say the tritone is a tritone, but we say that now we have, like in the full 24 Edo, we generally say we have, now instead of 2 classes of second, we have 4 classes of second. or arguably 5. And then, you know, so instead of having 2 seconds, now we have 5 seconds. Instead of there being 2/3, now we have 5/3. And so on. So instead of just having a minor second and a major second, and you could say you have augmented second too, but ignore that for now. Now we say we have a subminor, a minor, a neutral, a major, and a super major. So now we have 5 types of seconds. And you can build more 7-note scales that use those different seconds. So for instance, instead of going, like normally a major scale would go from 0 to 200 to 400 to 500 to 700 to 800 to 900. Wait, did I do that wrong? 700 to 900 to 1100. And then it would loop back at 0. So it'd be, 0, 2, 4, 5, 5, 7, 9, 11, back to 0. But you could make a scale in 24 that would instead go, so in 24, that same pattern you would double every note to get the same major scale. So now that you're in 20, but the cent size would be exactly the same, is actually what I'm getting at. It would still be the same exact, it would be 200, 400, 500. The cents would be the same. You could build a 7-note scale by like shifting these around. Like you could try a different pattern, or you could even arbitrarily decide, okay, I don't want this 400-cent third. There's a third right here that I can't use in 12 Ito. It's 350 cents. So you could build a scale that went 0, 200, 350, 500, and so on. And maybe you want the neutral 6th and 7th too, so you could go 850 and then go 1050. Or I think that was right. 850 and then 1050 instead. Felt obvious to use that method due to the fact that an octave is 1200 cents and 12 Ito. Yeah, and the reason why the cent size is what it is because 12 Ito is the basic, is our basic, it's our default, put that in quotes, but it is the reality, it's the cultural reality. That's our default, tuning. So 1200 cents, it's log base 2 of something or other. I can't remember exactly. But it's because we do a log base 2 times 1200 to create our cents. That way we split. That way we can split the octave into. That way we can split our chromatic scale into 100-cent pieces. But that's sort of arbitrary. Like they could have done some other. We could have defined the cent differently. It's sort of arbitrary. What really matters is that you have octave equivalents, and so you're going to interpret notes that are around 400 cents, or like in like the 370 to 410 range is maybe going to be like, you're going to hear that as a major third. So it's not there is, the math is not the only reason we call the intervals what we call them and stuff. It's also like how we build chords. Anyway, long ramble. Yeah, I don't know how much you've read about like JI and stuff, but it might be helpful to learn more JI and kind of learn like the common interpretations of intervals and different Itos, like how they're considered tempered. Yeah, no, I'm not I like your scale. I think it's cool. I like the logic of it. I'm gonna play with it, in fact, in just a second. But I'm just saying that when you say Locrian in 24 Edo, it's the same thing as in 12 because 12 this 24 is a superset of 12. So all the every normal musical term in 24 specifically, Edo, or in any multiple of 12, like 36 would be the same. There might come to be exceptions like as you get to like super precise tunings that have like better representations supposedly, but I think there'd be cause for some argument even there. Since like there you would get to a point where you'd have to decide is your default JI or is it 12 Edo? And I think there's a real argument there. But without getting into that, like any multiple of 12 is like the every music term, every music concept is going to preserve because you have 12 inside of that tuning. So to do a new scale that's going to make the most out of 24, that's going to use those intervals with the 50 cent with the quarter tones in there. It's going to be a new scale. It's going to have another name. It's going to have a different name and a different logic. So this would be like a half, what do we call it? We'd call it a half octave diatonic Locrian, or a young Locrian or something. Like there's probably not a name specifically for this, but it'd be like a tritone. It'd be like a half octave Locrian. That'd be a logical name for it. But it wouldn't be a pure Locrian. It would be a different type. There's a different logic behind it. In 24 you have, all right, rambled enough. We get it. I think. Let's just play some music now. So here is Emberkit's cool 24 14 note scale. And in fact, if I go into Surge, I can find where to start to get the get that Locrian scale. But I have to start on where it says 1150. So yeah, if I start here, I think that's it. Maybe not. How do you get... No, do this one. No, I have to do more than that. I need to do, play Master of Puppets. How does Master of Puppets go? Not a big Metallica fan. I mean, I don't mind them.
Getting a fresh deal at Subway has never been easier. Just buy any footlong in the app, get another free.
I'm gonna get DMCA'd. Is that all? Is that good? Make it look easy. It's like chromatic, basically. I could try the chords too. That's not right. The scale's uneven, so it's a little weird. Might just be like a probably like that. So it might have a I don't know. That part's a little weird. Um, octave 3 or 4. Sick. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I can tune it up some, man. Another thing I could do, actually, I want to do this. I'm going to go back to my 24 Ito layout. And I'm going to just load up that scale in it's gonna make that scale light up. And play it that way. So I can just play M24 more generally. So let me check out that Locrian 1, 3. So it'd be 0, 1, 2. Mode 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 22, 23. Okay. So here it is in all its glory. This way you can kind of see what the intervals are. So, and what notes you have and all that. So if I tune this. Now I can find that. Oh, this would be. Where does this start? Oh, where's it going to blue? Start like. Change my sound. Oh, it keeps leading. just throw in this one. No. Definitely a weird scale. Got a lot of talent. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I feel like a bumbling moron, so it's nice to hear things like that. But microtonal is one of the best things to incorporate when making ambient lo-fi. Oh yeah. I think it works well in those styles because they use like a lot of kind of like subtle pitch shifting and like what am I trying to say? There's a lot of like pitch shifting and detune. That's the word I'm looking for. Detuning the synths and stuff, and well, you know, a lot of the vintage, like the tape stuff will will detune the music, so like you can get that, you can kind of get a vintage sound. Or what am I trying to say? Sometimes like detuned, like subtle detune, like of the whole sound, like evokes that kind of like older era of me. I feel like I can't talk right now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with me, but yes, it's just that sound. Like the tape, something about the tape, it'll like bend the pitch. Like if you watch the old movies, like the soundtracks, you can hear the strings like warbling out of tune. And yeah, it's just like part of that, part of an older sound sometimes. Try your best to change your sawtooth into a piano. I don't know are you familiar with Piano Tech by Mod Art? It's not like super cheap. It's not it won't break the bank though. But yeah, it's got a really good piano sound, and I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah, you can just get it to play MIDI. So if you like write a part, or you know, you can just use it as a synth. And it's a really good piano sound, and you can tune it. I don't have it, so I can't show it, but I will get it eventually. So on my list, I really want to get a Lumitone, and then I'm gonna get a Piano Tech. So like on this layout, since ascending it moves a quarter tone, basically every other row belongs to one chain of 12. So if you were to just play every other row, you would have the 12 Edo subset of this scale. So in this case it would be just be that would be a half step. Minor third. Half step, minor third, half step, half step, half step. Minor third, half step, minor third, half step. Half step, minor third, half step, minor third, half step. That's kind of interesting. And then in the other chain it would be different. It would go half step, major third, half step, major third. Half step, major third, half step, third. Like almost like a mode of limited transposition. The only way you make music is on Soundtrap by Spotify using a Chromebook. You have an M Audio keyboard. You'd like a limit 8,000 in New Zealand. Holy moly! Sorry to hear that. Yeah, they are like so expensive. I need to save up for one, but like not making much money that I thought I was going to be. Like this time last year, I made way more money. I had more students. Well, not way more, but it's like if you're past that threshold where your bills are covered and all that, then it's like everything on top of that you can put away. And it's just like getting getting decently past that point. Like I was actually where I could put away some money last year. But I'll figure it out. I'm gonna get that Lumitone sometime next year. Yeah, it's like $4 grand actually. It's about $4 grand. They keep raising the price too. They raised the price and then put it on sale, so it's the same as the old price, which is $4 grand. Anyway, nice chatting with you, Ember Kit. Thanks everybody who hung out. I'm gonna get going. In 2 hours, I gotta go eat and some other stuff. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Probably gonna do some more mixing and do some more linnstrument stuff after that. Like super tired today, so I don't really feel like mixing. But I was afraid I would just fall asleep. But anyway, yeah, nice chatting with you. Have a good rest of your day or night. I guess over New Zealand it's probably daytime. Yeah, have a good rest of your day. And yeah, have a good one. Bye.